Okay, guys, welcome back to Broke Bets for week 5 of the NFL. Real quick, we're going to recap week 4 and our winning bets and our bet record there. So, what's up, dude?
What's going on, man? UFC break this week, so more focused on NFL.
Yep, let's get into this. So, week 4, we went positive for 0.91 units. That's 4 weeks in a row of winning. I believe it's like plus 5 something units right now total. Lost on the Rams. You were right about that pick. 49ers own them, at least in the regular season.
Regular season, yeah.
Chiefs, that one ended up being a pretty easy pick. Cowboys -3, pretty easy there as well. Cooper Cush. Um, Bills Ravens over 51. That game was on pace for it, and things just started to slow down as the game got wet. Uh, Cardinals Panthers. Cardinals played an ugly game, but still pulled the win. Bears +3. That was you.
Yeah, they kind of shit the bed there on the offensive side of the ball. Still
Standard.
didn't give up a touchdown in the second half. Yeah, they just had to be better in the red zone. I think they were 0 for 4 in the red zone.
And then you got your parlay with under 49.5 in the Titans Colts and the Texans plus 10.5 versus the
Yeah,
Chargers.
Texans plus 10.5. That was worrying me. They lost by 10, but still leaked it out. I think they could have kicked a field goal to go up by 13 late in that game, but they took a knee.
Right. All right, well, let's get into the next week already now. So, first game tomorrow night, Thursday night, we got the Colts and the Broncos. You just said Jonathan Taylor is going to be out for this game. Both teams are pretty inconsistent, and in my opinion, I would never actually really bet on either of these two for tomorrow night. But what's your pick?
Yeah, I'd lean Broncos plus 3 here.
-3?
Um, e- yeah, minus 3, my bad. Even with Jonathan Taylor, if he was still playing, I'd still lean Broncos. Their run D's really good, and the Colts haven't been able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. So without him, it's probably be more one-dimensional, and I like the Broncos offense to do just enough to cover the spread.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ugly game. Not really much to watch, in my opinion. Anyway, next one. We have the Giants playing the Packers in London. The spread's a little big, but there's a lot of questions behind the game between both the quarterbacks and even the Packers' last performance. So it's kind of hard to make a read on this game. I'm gonna say their money line for a parlay option. What's your pick here?
Yeah, I'll just pick Giants plus 8. I mean, in the London games are tough to call because you don't know like what their body routines are, and just the time zone difference can screw you up. I think a lot of those London games are usually pretty close, and I think the Giants with Barkley will be able to control some of the game and do just enough to
It's
cover the
hard to
spread
say if
there.
it's gonna be a third string quarterback though versus the Packers, and they might just
I mean,
stuff
they
that
just had
run
a
game.
third string. They just had a third string quarterback and had to beat him in overtime.
Yeah, true. I mean, but the Giants also steam is much worse, so we'll see.
Their defense is better though.
Next game, then the Patriots.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Next game, Steelers at the Bills. The spread's a little ridiculous. The Steelers don't have an offense with Trubisky or really Pickett. Um, the Bills, on the other hand, do. They also have the defense. Not really much to pick from this game, in my opinion. I'd do like an alternate spread of -6.5 as a parlay piece or something.
I'll go Steelers plus 14. I think that number's just too high. I think Kenny Pickett will do enough to keep it close, or I think the defense will do enough to keep it close.
I don't like picking big spreads like any of these because people can give away points at the end of the game for no reason. So I don't like looking at those. Next game, Bears at Vikings. Vikings appearing to be the old Vikings of last year, even with their new coach, not being consistent in their game. And they could totally give the Bears opportunities to stay in the game until the late in the fourth quarter. Bears +7 looks pretty easy.
Yeah, I think the Vikings could be up by 10 or so at half, and the Bears can keep it a one score game in the second half. The Bears, like I said, Bears haven't given up a touchdown in the second half. So I like that +7 here.
Vikings run defense is awful too, so like there's another way to get through. I don't know if David Montgomery's going to be back. I don't know if you know anything about that.
I doubt it. He didn't practice today.
Khalil Herbert's pretty good anyway, but next game, the Falcons at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers defense seems to be. I mean, they played the Chiefs, but they seem to be still doing okay. Falcons have been able to put points on the board with like Cordell Patterson, some of the other explosive players, and with
He's hurt now.
Brady's inconsistency still here. I think we got to go with the Falcons +9.
Yeah, I'd go Falcons here. Um, Divisional game, they're usually pretty close. Uh, and this is for first place in the division. Both these teams are 2-2 now. I think the Buccaneers win, but I think the Falcons keep it close and cover the spread.
Yep. Next game, we got Dolphins at Jets. Obviously, Tua out for this one. Teddy Bridgewater in. And the Jets with Zach Wilson. I personally would stick with the -3.5, 3. But what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah,
It
tough game to read with
depends
the
on game
backup
time as
QB.
well.
Yeah, tough game to get a read on, especially with Zach Wilson. I mean, this will be his second game this year, and then Teddy Bridgewater. This will be his first start this year. I'd lean Jets +3, but I don't fault you for taking Dolphins here.
Yeah, I think they're just a better all-round team. That's kind of thought process. Um, Next game we have Texans at Jags. In my opinion, I think anytime the Jaguars are, this must be the first time the Jags have been -7 since like 2017. Um, I gotta pick the Texans +7 here. I understand they're having a little bit of momentum here, but I still can't take the Jags -7.
Yeah, I agree. Jags defense is much improved as well as their offense. But yeah, I still think the Texans are good enough to cover the spread here.
Okay, next one we have Chargers at the Browns. Browns just losing to the Falcons, correct? And then Chargers, they just
Beat the Texans by 10.
right. Um, Shaky game. Chargers, like you said last week, have a lot of injuries. Kind of still questions around those. And Browns, they seem to know what type of team they are. They like to run the ball, and Brissett does what he has to. But hard to make a pick on this game. So what's yours?
Yeah, uh, another tough game to call, especially with Herbert being injured. Not sure what you're gonna get with him, but last week they put up 34. I still like him here to win by 3 or more.
Okay, next one we have Lions at the Patriots. Um, Lions putting up a ton of points on the board versus the Seahawks, but also taking a ton. And the Patriots almost beating the Packers in overtime. Uh, I think that in this one, I like the Lions +3 a little bit. But it's also hard to make a read on this game, see where it goes.
Yeah, I like the over here. The Lions have been in like 3 or 4 shootouts already. Uh,
I
I
just think
think they'll continue to put up a ton of points and give up a ton of points,
I think what has
even
to
with.
happen for the over is I think Goff's got to throw a couple picks or there has to be turnovers because the
I mean, they're bound to
Patriots.
make mistakes.
What's that?
I think he's bound to make a few mistakes again.
Yeah, and the Patriots just seem to get like versus the Packers. I think 10 of their points came from a fumble and interception. So, they're gonna need that help with it.
Yeah, I think Zappi did well enough
Well
to
enough, yeah. We'll see if Belichick won't leave the game in his hands. We'll say.
yeah.
Next game, Titans at Commanders. I gotta pick the Titans. The Commanders still don't really have much momentum, and Titans just came off a win versus the Colts, where they led most of the game. I like them here.
Yeah, I like him here as well. Tannehill's been playing better since he got benched, and they found the run game of late, and I like him here as well. -2.5.
Next one, we have the Seahawks at the Saints. Saints, oh my god, Andy Dalton stepped in, but Seahawks put a bunch of points on the board. It'd be interesting how this game plays out. But the Seahawks plus 5.5, I think that's the number just due to the Saints, injuries.
Right. Yeah, I agree here as well. Seahawks, I think they'll be good enough to keep it that close. I mean, I don't see Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston, for that matter, winning by 6 or more at any game.
I wouldn't bet that number, but I wouldn't bet that game in general.
Yeah, just because the Saints home crowd, don't know how much a factor that can be as well.
Next game, 49ers, the Panthers. Two pretty inconsistent teams. I wouldn't say the 49ers are super inconsistent, but Panthers have had a pretty rough go, struggle on offense. My pick for this game would be the money line, and I'd take this with the Packers to parlay those two together. Um, what's your play here?
Um, I like the under here. I think the 49ers will probably put up around 20, 23 points. And then I don't see the Panthers.
Putting up one.
Yeah, I mean, I see them putting up 14 at the most, if I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah, they just played the Cardinals, and Cardinals defense isn't insane, but they pulled a lot of turnovers on the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers scored 16 last week. Even with the shorter week for the 49ers, I still like them here as well.
Right.
So you could either go -6.5 or the under.
Next game, we have Cowboys at the Rams. Cooper Cush just keeps on rolling. He's 4-0 as a starter. Um, I mean, it makes sense just to pick the Cowboys plus 5.5. They're playing at the Rams. It's practically gonna be I won't say a home game exactly, but they'll be able to fill the stands with a lot of Cowboys fans, and make it feel like home.
Yeah, I agree completely here as well. Cooper Cush, I mean, he doesn't make mistakes. He's a good game manager, and Cowboys D is doing really well so far. So +5.5 here is reasonable for the Cowboys.
Feels like the Rams too. They have like, the couple star players on defense, and then they kind of fill in with a lot of numbnuts here and there, like just people that aren't that bright. So, uh, I think that's just budgeting. But next game, Eagles at the Cardinals. Eagles holding the only undefeated record. A lot of momentum right now. Good defense. Uh, Pretty explosive offense, and the Cardinals can't seem to do much right, even though they won. Pitch gotta be Eagles -5.5.
Yeah, and you saw it last week. Eagles were down by, I think, 14 to start off the game. Then they started running the ball, and
Instantly got back in it.
yeah, they, I think, won by like 10 plus, which pretty hard to do when you're already down by 14. So I
Right.
like the Eagles here, -5.5 as well.
Okay. We got the Sunday night game. Bengals at the Ravens. What's your pick for this game?
Uh, I like the Ravens -3 here. I think they'll bounce back with a tough loss to the Bills and primetime game. I think Lamar usually shows out pretty well for those games, and I think the Ravens will win by three or more.
Yeah, it's a question whether the Ravens can hold back the offense and the Bengals offensive line hasn't really held up too well. Joe Burrow doesn't really have much time to throw. More questions there. Uh, yeah, it'd be a close game. -3 is a good number to get your money back if needed. So,
Yeah, I'd probably alternate spread minus 2.5, or wait until closer to game time to see if the line moves at all.
all right, Monday night game to polish it off. We got the Raiders playing the Chiefs. Chiefs put up what 41 points last game. Raiders have a horrible secondary. I think this is lining up for a high scoring game, and also the Chiefs don't have the greatest defense, but they ride off their offense's momentum. I think a lot. So I'm thinking uh, over for this one.
Yeah, I like the over 51 here as well. Raiders offense found their groove last week against a pretty good Denver defense. Put up like 30 plus points, I believe, close to it, if not. And yeah, I like the over here. I think Chiefs will, they're bound for 30 plus, and Raiders will be somewhere in that ballpark as well.
Yep. All right, these are all the picks for week 5 of the NFL. Again, we'll get those bets out on Instagram. Sunday morning. It's really tough to get these out any better of time. Like we said, injury reports. Also, I think we're gonna do UFC. Uh, Grasso versus Inraho. Full card picks coming out Friday. That sound good with you?
I guess I can make that.
All right. I got nothing else. Anything else from you?
Um, Stay tuned to that Instagram and peace.
Peace.